Spirit said, "Wake your ass up. You got a show to do." I was like, so I got up and I was like, "Oh, let me go ahead and hop on here before Brian think that I just completely forgot about coming on at 11." So
No.
I'm up. I set my alarm and I'm ready. I'm ready for tonight. How are you?
I am great. Um, I've been doing some prep work. Like I've been praying, I've been meditating, I've been had me a nice cleansing bath and just yeah. So I even got a message even before I even logged on, and I was like, "What is going on here?" But yeah, so I have a message for somebody, but and I'll release it whenever Spirit tells me to release it. So,
Well, let's go ahead and look. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it because we're not trying to like miss this message from Spirit.
Not at all.
Who's online now? Welcome. If it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back to Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. I'm Ashley Anye, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader. And I'm just here to help y'all heal. And we're healing with humor because laughter is the best. I love your smile, by the way. Your smile just lights me up. Your smile just lights me up. And because laughter is the best medicine. I'm sorry, Brian's smile just completely threw me off. So tonight we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna do a switcheroo. And we're going to actually have Brian start us off with cards because the show is titled Cards and Conversation. So what better way to start the show off than to have Brian start us off. So without further ado, Brian, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I am going to show. This is one of my favorite decks that I came into contact with, and it's called. I'm gonna share this with. It's called Human Spirit Oracle. I love it one because I fell in love because the cards are green. You know, green is my favorite color. You know, so so for that, but I was definitely instructed to use this deck on tonight. So let's see what is coming out. And I actually have two more just in case. I'm not going to say that we're not going to use them. I'm not going to say that we are, but I was instructed to grab two more decks. Okay. As I'm shuffling, I'm hearing the words hope and destiny. Hope and destiny. So I don't know if those are names. I don't know if those hoping in your destiny, but hope and destiny. That's what I'm hearing. So there's two cards. The first one was eat your words, and the second one is head over heels. So let's see what is coming out with both of them. Eat Your Words is number 34, and Head Over Heels is the number 29. And they're very quick read, so it won't take too long. But eat your words. It reads, hangry. Well, you better taste those words before you consume them. Sometimes all sorts of things come out of people's mouths. Maybe you think being snarky or rude is cute or funny. But here is the real. You never know what someone is going through. Everyone is going through something that is relative to them, and we never know quite how they will digest your words. A kind word can go a long way in the era of Karen and Ken, so douse those words in sugar if you intend on eating them. Bitter words can make you cocky and gag. The reverse, we like big butts and we cannot lie. Or maybe we don't when we are the butt of a joke. Or if we are on the receiving end of someone's forked tongue. We must learn that sometimes people have nothing nice to say or don't believe in you. but you can take this as an opportunity. Use this as fuel. Make them eat their words. Prove them wrong about who they think you are. Be the bigger person. Serve that right back to them on a silver platter with a side of salt. I have a friend. I have a friend that has a saying that says, "Let's put a fork in it." So let's put a fork in it.
Okay.
Eat your words. And now we're going to go to head over heels. Love, amour, je t'aime. This thing that makes our heart speed up, our pulse quicken, gives us endless butterflies in our stomach. If you are in love, remember these moments when you were head over heels. Do not take your partner for granted when you have now may have become comfortable. Shake things up. Do something exciting. Find the passion between you and fall head over heels once more. If you have just fallen in love, fuel that excitement. Keep the head over heels feeling. Keep the new relationship always new and exciting. Never go to bed angry and relish in the fact that someone loves you for exactly who you are. In the reverse, taking love for granted can for sure be a way to live an unfulfilled life with someone you once were head over heels for. Can you rekindle that flame and gain that flexibility that made you head over heels? Or has your relationship come to a stalemate so rigid that neither one of you are willing to bend at all? It might be time to look into counseling and sit down to figure out just how to reignite that fire. So it doesn't matter what the people say about you. Do you, boo? And if you're in a relationship and you're wondering about love, baby, you got to what's the saying? The same thing that you did to get them is the same thing you're gonna have to do to keep them.
All right now.
Don't let that flame go out, and then you be the main one talking and doing what? Having to eat your own words because you're the reason why the downfall. So don't get in this energy. Continue to fall head over heels. I am going to pull one more card from the Moonology manifestation cards.
Well, I like that deck. I love that deck.
Listen, it's my favorite one. And let me tell you all about this deck. I saw this deck online and I kept seeing it everywhere I would go. I would see this deck and I was like, I want that deck. I want that deck. I'm going to get that deck. Do you know that this deck came to me at my previous job? It was on the tank and I walked past it and I said, wait. I know this is not the deck I've been manifested my own deck.
Mm-hmm. You ordered it and it disappeared? Wait, what? Well, so how did it get there?
No. So I used to work at Home Goods. And Home Goods is a part of the TJ Maxx company. They sell a lot of decks. A lot of people don't know that, but they sell a lot of tarot cards. And they had just started sending them to my store. And I kept saying, I want to get that deck. I want to get that deck. Like maybe I would say like 2-3 weeks later, this deck was sitting on the top of one of the tanks. And I just stopped and I was like, I'm getting this deck. It's like it literally came to me. So this is literally my second deck of cards. Literally.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Faded.
Yep. Ooh. Ooh, okay. All right. We have the last quarter moon in Sagittarius.
Ooh.
Yes. We put all this Sagittarius energy out there. And it says, practice gratitude. Now, I don't know if you all saw, if you were able to catch my video that I did, what, Sunday? I believe it was Sunday.
I think it was Sunday. I caught the beginning and the middle. I didn't catch the end.
Right. So I started off the video playing India Ari's Give Thanks. Because I just kept hearing the word Ashe, and I was like, okay. No, not Ashe, but Selah. And I was like, okay, I know that's her song. That's in one of her songs, but what is it? And it was saying, give thanks because it's a brand new day, give thanks. And so this is what that reminds me of is practice gratitude, giving thanks for what you're going to do, what you're doing, what's to come. Just give thanks. And that will help release some things in your life. So the last quarter moon is Sagittarius. I'm going to now read it. It says, the good news is that even though you have some issues that need tackling, they're nothing that you can't manage. More good news is the best way for you to clear the air and reach a breakthrough right now, so you can get your life to go the way you wish it to. It's to have a good old-fashioned laugh. It's all too easy to take life too seriously. This card urges you to take a lighter approach to life if you want to manifest your dreams. It's great to be earnest, but there's a time and a place. Don't entertain superficial feelings, as these are no better than fake ones. The manifesting mindset. Being open to life will make you open to manifesting. Get in touch with your mystical side and have fun with it. And your manifestation affirmation, life loves me and I love life. Life loves me and I love life. Get head over heels for your life. Did we not just pull that card? And then if you want the specific crystals, it says try these crystals to work especially well for the sign of Sagittarius. Amazonite, gold tiger's eye, blue tiger's eye, citrine, lapis lazuli, or any agate to help you manifest this gratitude. And remember, the affirmation is life loves me and I love life.
I love that. And I have a huge citrine crystal actually on my ancestor table. And every time I look at it, it just empowers me up. And I love that affirmation. Life loves me and I love life. You have to remind yourself how precious time is.
Yes.
And every day is not promised. So to remind yourself every day how much you love life, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's happening, I think just increases that positive energy flow coming in. It's just like we were talking about last time. If you say that you're going to have a good day, you're going to have a good day. If you say that today is going to be horrible, that day is going to be horrible. It's about you setting your intention and being intentional about what type of day you want to have. So I love that. I'm going to start saying it. I'm going to incorporate that into my affirmations that I say every morning, because every morning I say different affirmations. So I'm going to incorporate that. I love life and life loves me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Very good, B.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if that concludes the cards, I guess we can get into the conversations.
All right.
Let's tap into this planetary energy, because y'all know that's usually how we start this show off. And the moon is in Cancer. The moon is in Cancer. Cancer, my friend, and Bumblebee is a Cancer sun, so he doesn't have this type of energy. He harnesses his energy every day. So those of you out there might be feeling motherly. You might be feeling the strong urge to care for people. Your intuition may be heightened. You might even be a little bit sensitive, okay, that's because the moon is in Cancer. It's that nurturing energy. It's that warmth. It's that crab wanting to just take you into their shell and just have you all to their self. So if y'all have been feeling that, that's because the moon is in Cancer.
Yep.
Protective, extremely emotional, nurturing, sensitive. And speaking of which, like, you know, nurturing and being protective, how much does astrology influence a relationship? Like, I want to get into some questions, and I want to talk about how all these different things influence a relationship. But first, I want to talk about how astrology influences a relationship. And I'm going to leave the question on the floor to you, B, to answer first, and then I'll give you my answer. How much do you think astrology influences a relationship?
I think it is a heavy influence, mainly because even the earth is impacted by the moon's gravitational pull, and the stars, the planets, all of that is also in the same orbit of the earth. So if we know for a fact, that's why the farmers use the farmer's almanac, because they know that the moon has some type of gravitational pull that determines what type and when to plant a harvest, right? So when we're talking about everyday relationships and relationships like what is it, a relational relationships, there we go. What we're talking about is two people's energies that are being impacted by the planets, right? So like you just said, I am a Cancer, I feel everything literally. um so Cancers, we are feelers, right? And then if you're an intuitive Cancer, you really feel everything. So I mean, and sometimes you wake up, like there would be times that I would wake up and I would be angry for no reason, and I'm like, why am I angry? Like I have no reason to be angry. um and so just on that notion alone, understanding like if somebody else was in my life, now, mind you, I was a teenager, but still, imagine I'm dating someone and they come to me saying, "Hey, babe, what's up?" And I'm like, "Get away from me." That impacts that relationship, because now that person's trying to figure out, why did my boyfriend just snap on me for no reason? Why did my girlfriend just get up out the house and just go running down the street, didn't say anything, you know, and like what, like some people be like, what's the deal? What's tea? What's going on? What's the truth? And so something that recently happened to me, I had a conversation with someone, and we were talking about perception. And what they said to me was that perception is not reality. And let me tell you why I have a problem with that. Because again, now I just talked about, why did I snap on somebody, or why did the girlfriend get up and just leave, right? So your perception is that your partner is doing something out of the norm than what you're used to. So what happens is that you now internalize their actions for yourself. What did I do wrong? Is my partner cheating on me? Is, you know, did something happen? I don't know. They didn't say anything. And yes, communication is key for this, to solve all of this. But you're perceiving that these things are true. And until you get that answer, it is now your reality until you have that conversation. And this impacts so many relationships, because unless that partnership, that relationship is one that communicates everything. And you have some people that say, why you tell your girlfriend everything, why you tell your boyfriend everything? It's because I want to make sure that whenever I have this switch, this planetary switch that's going on, that he, that she, that they, however they identify, understands that I have now switched. Now, this is a different type of code switching that we really don't talk about, but it's very impactful. I mean, because it not only impacts our relational relationships, but it impacts our working relationships, our friendships, the relationships we have with our family members. It all aligns and is impacted by the planetary alignments.
I agree. Tremendously. And I'm gonna go ahead and just build off of what you just said. I think astrology influences a relationship tremendously, because astrology, when you dig deep and deep dive into astrology, it gives you a glimpse of who you really truly are. And I'm telling you, before I was like knee deep into astrology, like I knew what I liked. I knew I didn't like okra. I knew I liked Brussels sprouts. I knew I liked this particular actor. I knew I didn't like this singer. But when I got into astrology, like it showed me who I was deep, like beneath the surface, under the surface.
Right.
And so once I knew who I was, like under the surface, I knew my strengths, I knew my weaknesses, I knew my fears, I knew my inner demons, I knew my darkness. And so astrology, I think, influences a relationship tremendously because it shows you who you are. A lot of people don't know who they are to the core. You know what you like, you know what you don't like, but do you really know what your darkness is? Do you really know what you came here to do, what your soul's purpose is? And if you don't know that until you dig deep into astrology.
Right.
So that's why astrology, influences a relationship tremendously, because it shows you who you are beyond the surface. So that's my 2 cents.
Right.
For what it's worth. Next question I have is, how compatible do people have to be for a relationship to work? How compatible do 2 people have to be for a relationship to work? I'll let you answer that first, because I'm still kind of pondering on that question.
You have to be compatible, because it's sort of like this that thing with oil and water. They don't mesh well. And when you know that you're full of oil and your person is full of water, that's just a clash waiting to happen. Like, it may be beautiful right now. It may be like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, honey. Let me tell you, I'm gonna give me 2 pieces, slap some butter, and call it toast. Okay. But then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now this bread is getting kind of hard and it's getting kind of crunchy. Like, what's going on? Like, that softness, that moisturizer that the moisture of the bread is no longer there. Like, what's happening? It's becoming stale. And it's because those 2 things are now separating. It's the 2 elements, there we go, are now separating. But when you're an element and you're somebody that mesh very well, you keep each other energized. It's sort of like the evergreen. It will always stay green no matter what season, no matter if it's a rocky season in your relationship, no matter if it's happy times, if it's cold times. If you're going through something, that person is always there nurturing you. And when they're going through something, you're doing the same for them. So that's what I mean when I say, like, you have to mesh well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you definitely. And that's going to go into our next questions. So before I get to the next question, I'll give you my answer before because I was going to jump ahead and say, yeah, well, the next question is, wait a minute, answer the question first. So for me, I feel like, especially when 2 people or a person comes to me for a compatibility test, I feel like I always have to tell them, first and foremost, that you have to have some foundation of compatibility in order for you guys to sustain like a fruitful, successful relationship. Like, you guys have to have some foundation of compatibility. And I always feel like, communication, Mercury, that has to be right. Your Venus's Venus and Mars, like that has to be right. That has to have some type of compatibility, because when you think about it, if you're with someone who doesn't like to do the do, but you like to do the do, okay, there's going to be some static there, okay? Because you got one person that always wants to get it on and pop, and then one person that just wants to chill. So, there's different aspects to look at in a relationship compatibility, but I always say, like, you got to have some type of strong foundation to build from. And it's not all about sex. I'm not saying that that's the entirety of a relationship, but I do look at, the Mercury, I look at the Mars, I look at the Venus, of course, and the sun sign, and also the moon. I also look at the moon signs, because that is how you express your emotions.
Exactly.
So, to answer my own question, I look at the top 6, in your birth chart to see how that compares to your partner's top 6. And if that is in alignment, then chances are, you guys are going to have a successful relationship. But that all depends on the people.
Exactly.
How much to make it work, because I can tell you, hey, you guys look good on paper, but are you both willing to put in that elbow grease, that work? So it all depends on the people. All right?
Exactly.
Next question. Can opposites sustain a relationship? They say opposites attract. Can 2 opposites sustain a relationship? What do you think?
Yes, because even when it's an opposite, there's still certain elements in the opposite that mesh well. So like it kind of ties in with, like you said, like what we just, like there's people like to use the magnet, and the magnet always repels, but opposites mean that this person is totally different from you. So say like myself, I'm a very happy-go-lucky person, right? For 75%, well, I would say 95%. What, who am I kidding? 95% of the time, I'm happy, right? So, but what if my future person is not 95% happy? What if he is someone that is, just chill, real cool. And it's just like, no, babe, that's you. You do you. Right? But because we're opposites, we attract. Right? That is the meaning of the opposite. It's something that is different from you, but you're still going to have that mesh because there's something there that you both share. Maybe both of us are highly motivated. Both of us are highly intelligent, but the way I express and the way he expresses something totally different. It doesn't mean that we can't meet in the middle. It's just our form of expression.
Okay, I like that. So I look at that as like that yin and yang energy. Okay, even though you guys have different things to bring to the table, like on paper, it may look like, okay, this is fire and this is water, but okay, like the fire is like the spark and the water is the calmer, so the water can like calm the fire, when the fire needs to be calm. So I look at that like, okay, like the balance, even though they usually say fire and water don't mesh, but I'm just looking at it, from a bigger perspective. So I get what you're saying.
Well, I was gonna say, you can look at me. For those who don't know, I am a water sign, sun sign. Everything else in my chart, just about over half of it, everything else is fire.
Right, and that's a prime example where you have to look at aspects of the chart. You can't just look at the sun sign. And I think a lot of people say that, well, we're compatible because I'm fire, he's fire, or he's air and I'm water. And it's like, no, you have to look at the entirety of the chart to see other aspects if you guys are truly compatible. Because if that's the case, then we can say, oh, we're not compatible being friends because I'm fire and you're water, but you have mostly fire in your chart.
Yep,
You know, so you're every bit of a fire spot like I am because you have so much fire in your chart. So I don't even, I gotta tell people, listen, it's not about the sun sign. Like the sun sign is just like the basis. Like you gotta look at the moon, Venus, the Mercury.
It's the front door. You got to go in the house to actually see the house. You can't just say go to the front door and say I seen the house.
You gotta go in the house, sit on the couch, and watch 227. You gotta relax. Like you gotta do it all.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and answer before I keep getting sidetracked. So I feel like honestly, anyone can sustain a relationship. There are people who have been in relationships for years with people. The question you have to ask yourself is a relationship happy? Is the relationship healthy? Do we have the same goals? Because opposites attract, but do you guys have the same values? Are you guys planning to do things that align with each other's goals? You have to ask yourself that, because you can be in a situation that you sustain a relationship, but you can be sustaining it just so you're not by yourself, just so you don't have to be alone. So you have to ask yourself, am I sustaining this relationship because I don't want to be alone, or because, this is really something I want to work in the long term? So yeah, opposites can sustain a relationship, but you guys have to be on the same page, and you guys have to be headed in the same direction, or at least one person has to have the vision and the other person has to be okay trusting you with that vision and trusting that you're going to lead them into victory, if that makes sense. I know I'm so long-winded when it comes to answering questions, but I just like to be as detailed as possible. So to sum it up, opposites can attract, but just make sure that if you're with someone who's opposite from you, that you guys have similar goals, similar things in common, and that one of you guys has the vision, okay? Because you could be looking at it from a bird's eye view. Well, you know what? We're opposite. I don't think it's going to work. So let me just, do my own thing over here, but we'll still, stay together because I don't want to be by myself. No. Like, make sure you guys are happy. Make sure you guys are healthy. Make sure you guys know that you want to do this together. So that's my take on it.
And I don't mind sharing this because I was going to say, because that right there reminds me of my ex, honestly. Because I was on with the vision of us working together, whereas he was in the vision of let me get myself together, and then then we can do things together. And it was it disrupted some working and financial aspects of our relationship, but also it caused him to have like some internal thoughts, which is why I push in, and I'm glad the cards even said it earlier too. If you need therapy, go seek therapy, go seek out help, because a lot of the issues, if my camera's jumping, it's because of my dog, y'all. But the thing is, if you have so much weighing on your head and on your spirit that you can't really focus and concentrate, it knocks you off of your course of action. It puts you into that place. And then again, it all is affected by the planetary alignments of how hard and how heavy these things impact your mental headspace. And even as intuitives and readers and alchemists and everybody who deals with the spiritual world, we have to check in as well and release some things out, because we're constantly pulling in. So even we ourselves have to do some sort of release. And that's all therapy is release.
It is. And I always tell people that when someone asks me, do you think that therapy is effective? Yes. Yes. And I know the Black community sometimes looks down on therapy because, a lot of us don't like to open up and share our inner demons, our inner thoughts, our inner secrets. But therapy helps, it works, and it's okay to talk to someone outside of your immediate circle. It's okay to talk to someone outside your family because they're going to give you an honest, unbiased opinion. And they're going to help you figure out what you need to get together to evolve and to get to that next level. So I'm for therapy. I am for therapy. But that thing you brought up about your relationship, that is a great example of opposites attracting. And that's another good example of what I just said, how you have to be on the same page, because sometimes opposites think in opposite directions, and one is going over here, one is going over there, because they're not on the same racetrack. So that's why you have to make sure if you're with someone that's completely opposite, that one of you guys has the vision, one of you guys is leading properly, and the other person is okay trusting that person. Because if not, then you'll be doing your own thing over here, and they'll be doing their own thing over here, and you're together, but you're doing completely two different things.
Right.
Two different things. So, like, are you really together? Because this person over here is literally like over there. Like over there, and you're over there. So yeah, you may be living together, but the energy, the mind, the whole aura is completely separate.
And what's the saying? A house divided in and of itself cannot stand. If you over there and he's over there, or she's over there, bam! It's already division.
That's what I'm talking about, and that brings me to another strong point. Like, make sure you're building on a strong foundation, because anything that's not built on a strong foundation is going to perish. You're going to have a major tower moment if you are building a relationship on shaky foundations. If you're building a relationship off of if you're building a relationship off of lies, if you're building it off of, I'm just going to be doing this just so, something else come along. Like, if you're building anything on shaky foundations, it ain't going to prosper. It ain't going to prosper.
No, it's not.
So that's that. Now, the last question, and this is so funny. You're going to get a kick out of this. How do I get my boyfriend's time of birth for a reading? Now, this is like something that just kind of slid in my DM, but when you do birth chart readings, or just when you want to figure out who someone is to the core, you have to get the time of birth. Okay, Ryan, can you please answer this? How does one get someone's time of birth?
So I had to get in my acting role. I had to get in my old grandmama's voice. Hold on, let me get a pillow. Let me. Now, baby, let me tell you something right now, baby. You're going to have to talk to that young man's mother, sister, somebody that has ample enough time to find the records, honey, because the record's going to tell you everything that you need. And if he doesn't, then you are going to have to go based off of his normal sun sign. But the timing does help pinpoint exactly who you are dealing with. But even if you could get the roundabout, it's still good because it gives you an idea. But yeah, you're definitely going to have to talk to his mother or someone. And if you haven't met the person's mother or something, find out where he's born. Like the courthouse keeps all records. So
okay, I was gonna say courthouse can keep the courthouse keep record of everyone's date of birth. But I was gonna even go deeper, because actually this is something that I had a problem with when I was trying to do a reading on someone that I was in a relationship with. I meditated on it. I was like, you know what? There is no possible way for me to be slick to try to figure out what time this person was born without having to ask them or ask their mother. So I meditated on it. And I was like, just sitting there like, you know what? Let the time come to me. Energetically talking to my higher self, let the time come to me so I can know what numbers to plug in when I do this reading. And the next day, like, I was looking at the clock and it said the time, and I was like, bet, like, that's the time that person was born. And I put it in, and lo and behold, like, the moon matched, the rising matched, the Venus matched, everything matched. I was like, yeah, that higher self will do it to you. That higher self will do it to you. So to answer that person's question, if you can't get to the courthouse and get the records, if you can't get to their mother, if you can't get to them, then meditate on it. Meditate.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and if you're not an intuitive or you feel like you can't, that will not work for you, definitely go talk to your local psychic or intuitive person and just say, hey, I need a number, you know, and or you don't even have to say it out loud, just have it in your heart, like, what is the question? And the person's going to say, okay, spirit is telling me to tell you 6:35 a.m. I don't know why, but 6:35 a.m. and that's your person's time of birth. So I mean, there's other ways, like Ashley said, that you can get around it. So listen, it's obtainable.
Yeah, we just gave you the spiritual route to get around it. I mean, if you can't get to their mother or father, or you can't get to their actual birth certificate, then go see a spiritual person. They're practically in every neighborhood, and if not, then just meditate on it. So I have one last question.
Hold on, one last thing. I was gonna say, pay attention to the numbers that you start to see as well.
Right.
Because like you can see the number and mindlessly just be like, okay, like why am I seeing this number? But if you continually see it over and over and over again, that's a clear indication as well.
That's a sign for sure. Okay, so all right, so I have one last question. Can you rekindle an old flame? Can you rekindle an old flame? I'll let you go first.
So I'm going to answer this question with a question, and that is, do you really want to rekindle this old flame? And I'm asking because what we tend to do as human beings is that we tend to grasp hold onto things that we are used to. And if it's so familiar to us, we're just like, I don't want anything new. Like, give me what I'm used to. I really am hearing TLC's waterfalls right now. Stick to the rivers and the lakes like you're used to. You're right. But if spirit is telling you, baby, why are you sticking to this stream that's leading to this pond, and I'm trying to take you to the ocean to show you a whole new world. Come on, Ariel, talk to me, girl. I'm trying to show you a whole new world where you can find not only somebody that's compatible with you, but somebody that's going to work with you, that's going to encourage you, that's going to upgrade you, and you're going to upgrade them, right? Like I always, and yes, I do have to talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z, because we don't know who exactly, unless you're a part of their team. You might know who they were dating before, but now to look at them now, you see that they are a powerhouse couple. Stop trying to live beneath your means. Stop trying to date and connect beneath your means, because spirit will always lead you to the person that you're supposed to be with, that's going to make you a powerhouse couple. That's what I want for myself. A lot of people always say, well, would you go back? And I've entertained the thoughts, right? Because I'm like, if the person has changed and this is who I'm supposed to be with, their change is supposed to match my energy. And of course, I have changed, right? So when we get together, that means that meshing that we talked about earlier is going to happen off gate. It's going to happen off gate. We're going to recognize it. But if there's the friction and a clash, then it's not for you, because that's like spirit saying, "Hope, you can't go any further." Right? You can't go any further. You do not pass go. Do not collect your $200. Go back to jail. Go, and basically that is go back to your waiting period until I release you unto to somebody new for you. So you can rekindle the old flame without spirit's blessing. But what you might do is you might walk into a whole bunch of curses. You might slow down your own destiny, and you might lose hope. There's hope and destiny again, in what you're supposed to do. So you have to be careful when you're trying to rekindle something that has died. It's like necromancy. That's what I heard. It's like necromancy. Why are you trying to bring it back from the dead?
I don't even know how to top that. Like, that is, whoa. Like, I don't even know how to, like, Lord, I'm going to try to build off of that. I'm going to try my hardest to build off of that. But Bestie, you did that. You did that. It truly is like bringing something back from the dead. And I think as humans, it's just a nature to entertain things that are familiar with us, things that we're comfortable with, things that we have eyes on point in our life. It's human nature to say, you know, well, maybe this person has changed. Well, maybe it could be this way. Well, you know, I always saw us being this type of couple, but I like what you said in the beginning. Why are you swimming in the creek water when you can be in the ocean? Why are you swimming in the creek when you could be in the ocean? You know, just getting all of these deep waves, you know, all of these deep blessings, all of these deep,
right.
deep treasures, you know, that you can find. And so I feel like at the end of the day, after taking everything in, I would have to say that I feel like it's always something better. It's always something better. And I feel like that everything happens for a reason. And I feel like you evolve and sometimes grow together and sometimes you go apart. And if you're growing apart from someone, it's a reason why you guys have grown apart. And I truly believe that there is something better, especially if you had pure intentions throughout the entire relationship, especially if you gave it your all, especially if you put forth the effort, especially if you were intentional about being your true, authentic self and you gave genuine, real A1 love. Okay, I think that the universe is going to reward you with that in a better version, I'll say. So I think that that's your cue to say, you know what, I did all I can do, and now it's time to move on to the next phase.
Yep.
So that's my answer to.
I can now release what the message that I got earlier too. So I guess Spirit was waiting for this to come out, because for somebody it feels like it. I'm going to say, for the lack of other words, because I'm literally hearing this and based off of the joke that's been going around lately, but you literally feel like you've been swallowed up by something. You feel like you've been consumed, and it's overpowering you. It's overshadowing you, almost to the point that you can't breathe. So as I was preparing to get on tonight, I was led to go read the scripture in Jonah, the book of Jonah in the Bible, Jonah 2, 9 and 10. And what it talks about is that when Jonah said, okay, God, and then I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to give you what's yours. I'm going to give the honor and did we not talk about praise earlier? I just thought about that. I'm going to give you what's yours, and I'm going to do what you said. And then it said, you know, God troubled the fish's mouth or belly so that he spit Jonah out. And literally what Spirit told me is that the way, whether it's a relationship, and I really feel like it may be a relationship because we're talking about this tonight, If you feel like your relationship has swallowed you whole, the only way to get out of it is to recognize how you need to connect back with spirit. So if you're somebody that was very religious and you kind of step back away because your house is divided, right? You're trying to go with spirit, and this person is doing every demonic thing known to man. Baby, y'all can't stay in the same household because light and dark can't live in the same place. Light will always overpower the darkness. And so if this is you, you're already living in a house divided. And until you leave that situation, until you say, I'm going to do what I know that I'm supposed to be doing for spirit, for God, for the light of the world, then you're going to always feel consumed. But the minute that you agree to do what you're supposed to do, you're going to not only feel free, but you're going to put out that flame. You're not going to go back towards that flame. You're not going to rekindle that old flame. You're going to go on to some bigger and better things.
That is very true. And I'm going to chime in on what you said about the light and darkness, because when you think about it, light and dark, we all have light and darkness within us. And that's, high and low, high vibration, low vibration. But when you think about two people coming together in a relationship, that's hard to sustain someone who is of the light and someone who is of the darkness, because that light is always going to illuminate the darkness and shine a light on the darkness's shadows. And that's going to show the darkness, yo, you got skeletons in your closet, B. Like, get it together. And the dark person is not going to necessarily want that light person to reflect back to them who they are. So the darkness is going to either do one or two things. Evolve or try to reflect that light back to the light person and try to manipulate the situation. You get what I'm saying? That's why it's hard for light and dark to coexist, because the darkness is going to either do one or two things: evolve and change once the light shows them who they are, or try to reflect that light back to the light person and manipulate the situation. Like, no, this is not me. This is you. This ain't me. It's you.
And Bestie, what do we call these things? We call them twin flames.
Oh, God.
I told you somehow we were going to get here. I didn't know how, but I told you it's going to come up because it's been coming up. This is how you get into the twin flame situation. That's exactly right. Because because it's that love chase, and it's like once you get to that point of, okay, baby, I'm tired of chasing you, you split. You split, and you may or may not come back together, because all twin flames don't come back together. But if you don't, again, this is your old flame. Are you really trying to go back to that headache and that pain that you went through? Because by you leaving, this person is now sitting and wallowing in their mess like a hog, and now they're like, baby, I could have been over there with this person. I'm seeing their glow up, and now I can't be a part of that world because I messed up. I wanted to stay in my darkness.
Right. And I have to say this because I know that people that aren't too familiar with the term twin flame, it is a journey, okay? And not everyone is going to be on a twin flame journey and going to be called to be on a twin flame journey. Let me just put that out there, because the term is just really being just flooded by social media. I know TikTok has flooded twin flames. I know Instagram, like where you look, it's a twin flame post. Are you a twin flame? Are you in a twin flame connection? It's just it's flooded the social media platform. So you know if you're a twin flame or not. Twin flame period. Like, you know if you're in a twin flame connection. Not everyone is in a twin flame connection. You may just be in a karmic connection, because sometimes you get the two confused, because karmic sometimes feels like a twin and vice versa.
Get you some of this. for all cases. Some selenite, just cleanse. Just ooh.
So I got two of these. I got one by the bed and one by the TV. Okay, I do not play when it comes to my piece. Okay,
That part.
Still.
Okay.
So yes, I just want to put it out there because not everybody will be in a twin flame connection, but when you know, you know. And yes, it is about showing the reflection to the other person, and also that person showing you your reflection, but not in a manipulative type of manner. Instead of showing you who you are so that you can evolve, and you doing the same vice versa. You both are basically just a reflection of each other so that you can both choose to either evolve or run. And if you run, then you'll just be running, because you can't run from your reflection.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna always chase you. So you can choose not to deal with it now, but you can't run from your reflection.
Or your shadow.
Right, you can't run from your shadow. As long as the sun shines, you're gonna have a shadow. It's impossible for you to run from it. But yeah, that twin flames, that's a whole another topic. Like, that's a whole other topic. That's something that we would definitely talk about, like on a future show, because boy, don't we have some stories.
Oh.
What if you run from the mirror? Well, like I said, Ash, if you run from the mirror, you'll just continue to run, because that mirror is always going to be chasing you. Because the thing about a twin flame is a connection that you will run from, because it's scary. The other person showing you your reflection, that is terrifying. It's terrifying to see someone else show you who you are, because no one else has probably shown you this side of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a twin flame and they show you, your reflection, it's shell shocking, and you can choose to continue to run, or you can evolve. So if that person continues to run from the mirror, they're going to just be running right into themselves again. There's no way they can hide. Right. There's no place you can.
Alexa, please play "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. Like, because and to add on to what you just said about that, you can run away from the mirror, but the mirror is only showing you what you have and what you're carrying. So just because you refuse to see something does not mean it's not there. And so, I mean, and again, that goes back to the therapy. Just because you refuse to acknowledge your traumas in the past doesn't mean that you're not carrying them, because they show up in other ways.
Right. And that is what therapy helps you with. Because I feel like a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm fine, regardless of what happened to me when I was younger, or regardless of what happened to me in that relationship, that's definitely not affecting this relationship. Well, guess what? That's how trauma affects your relationships. It affects your relationships, your friendships, your love interests. That's exactly how trauma affects you. It affects your relationships. So if you don't heal that, you are repeating things that you have gone through and acting them out in your relationships. And you may be doing this unconsciously, but that's exactly what trauma is. It's taking out what you went through on your significant other unconsciously, or maybe subconsciously.
And going in circles.
It's like, aren't you tired of running?
Mm-hmm.
You're not tired of running? I'm tired of watching you run in a circle. I'm getting dizzy watching you run. But if you're not tired, keep going. I'll take a bottle of water. Keep going.
Okay.
When you get tired, you're gonna stop. Because the legs can't go forever. Once you get tired, your soul is gonna get tired. And once you get tired, you're gonna eventually stop. You're gonna eventually stop. So I hope that answers your question. Peace Love 3. No, I'm sorry, Peace Love 13.
Yep. 13.
Well, if no one else has any questions, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap much for joining us for another episode of Cards and Conversations, episode 4, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions, excuse me. And yes, we will see you guys back here, same time next week, Tuesday, 11. Be here, don't be late, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace. Oh.